All right, chat. Welcome back. We're back. Sorry for no uploads. I don't know if you guys have been following my TikTok. I have literally been in Cali. I just got back today. It's 10:26 Eastern Standard Time. I was gonna make this trade recap tomorrow, but damn, damn, I'm fresh as clean, bro. I'm fresh as hell, bro. So nah, I was gonna make the trade recap tomorrow, but I got home. I loved being on my setup. I just got back from, well, I just copped some stuff from Stussy or Stussy, however. Went on a whole shopping spree in downtown LA. But yeah, I was gonna upload this tomorrow, but I was like, nah, I gotta feed the fam, my YouTube fam, my little family, cause some people have been asking me for the trade recap, and I was like, I got you when I'm back, and I got whooped, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And the main reason why I got whooped while I was thinking and doing my post reflection notes while I was in Cali, I woke up 30 minutes, no, not 30 minutes before market open. I woke up 5 minutes before market open. I didn't have a PC. That's not really an excuse, but I woke up 5 minutes before market open. I didn't have time to plan my contingencies or do any of my analysis. Secondly, I was on and off from the charts, which honestly was a really, like, now in hindsight I should have known, like, just stay off for the day because I knew I was gonna be busy, but I just wanted to at least get a trade in. So that was honestly my fault because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to like actually be like fully contently focused on taking a trade, and I ended up taking a trade. I ended up losing. Ended up losing twice actually, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, let's talk about it. And honestly, the trades that I took were honestly they were pretty bad in according to what I was doing. I definitely could have played it way better if I had. Whoa, I definitely could have played it way better if I what should we call it? If I was at home. Not even home to be honest. Even if I had like proper focus, I definitely could have played it way better. But let's go on into it on what I was thinking. This is like I misentered on this. Literally, I entered and exited on the same thing. I ended up losing bread on this. I mainly took it on ES. So coming into today on ES, this was Tuesday the 12th. We had Trump speaking at 9:30, and we also had a whole bunch of FOMC members. Not a whole bunch of FOMC members, but we also had federal budget balance and we had inflation expectations at 9:30 and 9:45. Coming into today, not today, whoa. Coming into market open, we're on the hourly. Listen, I'm going to stay on the hourly because this is where my whole basis was based off of. We had a crazy new week opening gap. I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but $2 trillion have been added onto the US stock market due to the Chinese tariffs being cut. Not fully, but they have been reduced significantly. So with that in mind, $2 trillion have been added to U.S. stock market, which caused this huge plump overnight last weekend and caused this huge new week opening gap, which to me is still a heavy draw on liquidity for me. Like, bro, emphasis on heavy, bro. Like, I can't, bro. I genuinely cannot stress this to you how much I mean by heavy, bro. Like, genuinely, bro. Like, hold up. Like, heavy, bro. Do you see this? Like, hold up. Like, we haven't even hit this yet, bro. And I genuinely think we do need to come down for this sometime soon. We've just been pumping nonstop. I haven't been on the charts yesterday because it was CPI. Well, today because it was CPI, and I also had a flight back home. It was literally in the air for all of my day. But yeah. So with that in mind, we had a huge gap. This gap for me was my draw on liquidity. Was one of my draws on liquidity. And you're probably thinking, well, why are you going against the trend if we're going up? I'll tell you why. This was my whole thought. I'm gonna give you guys my whole thought process. If you guys look at what we were doing, we were overextended. Now, if you followed my trade recap, I think the last one before this where I lost, I realized that we were overextended on Asia and London session, and we needed a retracement to continue down in order for us to continue lower. And we got that. That's why I lost because my brain wasn't thinking on London session and Asia session on the higher time frame as I usually was thinking on. Now, coming into it, I am looking fully on the higher time frame, just waiting for price to develop in order for my trading to just come along in general. So with this in my mind, I was like, okay, we have a new big opening gap. We are overextended. We have no bearish candles, bro. We're on the hourly, by the way. On the hourly, we have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 candles, 13 bullish candles in a row. And you're telling me we're not filled yet. I mean, we're not balanced. You also had this huge gap, and if you're wondering what the middle of this gap is, this was the midpoint of the gap, and the bottom, well, the bottom and top was the entries, and then the midpoint was the gap, as you can see right there. But with that in my mind, I had this. I was like, okay, I'm going to go against the trend. Well, at least I'm gonna follow this new trend. And you're probably thinking, why? How else were you bearish? I'll tell you why. We broke hourly structure. We didn't break 4-hour structure, but we broke hourly structure. If anything, 4-hour structure was just a retrace into continuing higher to make this gap, and then we continue just higher on 10 a.m. open to manipulate. Oh wow, excuse me. But now looking at, wow, we really did manipulate. We ended up creating a 4-hour gap, and then from there we ended up manipulating lower, filling in this gap, and then we ended up continuing higher. Which is probably why I got messed up. Damn, I look at on the manipulation. Not really manipulation, but it was honestly part of my bias. But let's talk back into it. On the hourly, I saw that we created a bearish break of structure, and now in hindsight, thinking about it, I should have had more confluences on the higher time frame for me to be bearish. And you're probably thinking like, what else would you have needed? Honestly, if we had a gap here on either ES or Nasdaq, like how we usually do, we usually inverse it. That's good key sign telling me that we're gonna want to continue lower. We ended up not having that. We just ended up having a break, and we ended up retracing into this huge gap, which ended up continuing higher, which was honestly my fault. I really only went off one confluence on the high time frame. I usually go off two, as you guys usually see. It's usually a break, and then we're just respecting bearish PD arrays. Um, excuse me. Yeah, we also had that, and then oh damn, I can't even mark up previous day highs. That's so unfortunate. But yeah, sorry, my brain is literally everywhere, bro. But fuck it. So yeah, I only went off this break structure on the high time frame, which was honestly my fault. To be honest, I should have waited for more. Well, I should have seen that bearish PD rays were being respected, or should have been being respected, as you guys have seen in my wins or losses. I usually see, okay, this is how I became my bias because of this was being respected, this wasn't being respected. But honestly, my whole idea was just on this new week opening gap. Do you guys see how big this is, bro? This is a huge draw on liquidity for me. It still is, to be honest, coming into like the week. I won't trade tomorrow, like, because I have so much stuff to do in the morning. I also have another flight on Thursday. I probably will not trade at all. I probably will not trade at all again this week. To be honest, I'll probably just be stuck on my L's. To be honest, just because of how busy I am this week with traveling and everything, I don't want to get like caught up in everything. But yeah, guys, let's get on to the whoa, 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 whoa. 5 minute, because this is where stuff really gets messed up. Well, no, 15 minute, because this is how else I came up with my bearish bias. I forgot to tell you guys. Holy, my mind is everywhere. Coming into the 15-minute pre-market, what did we have? We had a 15-minute SMT ski. So in my mind, and we had also had a doji candle. So this doji candle was an up candle because you need a high, boom, high, and then, oh wait, hold up, was it a 15-minute? No, 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 I'm tripping, I'm tripping, I'm tripping. 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute. Bro, I was about to trip balls, bro. But yeah, on the 15-minute, we had nothing, to be honest, being respected. Oh, I lied. We had a 15-minute. Ooh, excuse me. We had a 15-minute change in state, which was honestly really caused by market open, so I wouldn't really consider that. But we also had this. Well, I mean, yeah, we also had this 15-minute change in state. To be honest, it wasn't really a clean displacement, but we displaced out of it, and we ended up retracing up higher into this order block, and then we ended up continuing downwards. So I mean, bullish PD arrays were being respected. We ended up closing above this order block. But I mean, some people count the order block as the wick as well. I don't really count it as wick. I usually count it as like the whole up body. But we ended up respecting the order block and maintaining bullet bearish order flow, at least in my opinion. Like, we ended up breaking structure right here. Wow, we actually ended up not breaking bearish structure. Hold up, wow, maybe I was wrong about my bias all this time. Damn, I was really having a lack of sleep. Wow, this is so bad. This is like the first time I would actually like take a huge L like this. But let me tell you guys what I was doing. We ended up creating an SFT on the 5 minute. So with me on the 5 minute we were bearish. That was like what I was like based off of. I'm usually based off the 15 minute because that's usually high time frame PDA rate plus the hourly and the 4 hour. But I was honestly based off the 5 minute. What else do we have in the 5 minute? We were respecting this BPR, balanced price range. We were also respecting this inversion. That's pretty much what that is. What else were we respecting? We also came up and respected this order block. Well, the CISD actually, Because what is it? It's a series of down close candles. And then what else do we have? We ended up having a little tap into it, and then we continued on downwards. So that was pretty calm with me. I did peep that as well. To be honest, we were also respecting. Excuse me. We also respected this breaker, not breaker, this order block as well. We ended up creating highs. We made the SMT, and then from there, it's pretty solid. What we wanted to do. Um, and you're probably like, why is this not an SMT? Well, you're probably like, how is this an SMT if it's not an up candle? It's a doji candle. If you look right here, well, my finger, I don't know if you see my finger, but right here on this corner side right here, you're gonna see a percentage. If it's a plus, it's an up. Well, it's a bullish candle. If it's a negative, it's a bearish candle. And that was pretty much what I needed for my SMT to be here. And now realizing in hindsight, this SMT was coming to wipe out, bro. If I can, there we go. Not wipe out any specific lows, but I do think that SMT was honestly made to just tap into this what should we call it? It was just made to tap into this fair value gap, this hourly gap for us to continue higher, which is the reason why in hindsight I realized I kind of messed up because coming into market open, we ended up dumping hugely, bro, hugely. And I saw this dump and I was like, okay, this is way early before the macro, but these highs, these SMT highs are protected highs. Like we're not gonna come back over here. We ended up creating a huge imbalance. I did not wait for my imbalance. I did not wait for this 5 minute PD ray to be tapped. First mistake. So that was totally on me. I was in the mindset that we were gonna continue on lower to the gap, and then from there we'll continue on to the midpoint of the gap, and then from there maybe the end of the gap, and then honestly maybe the new week opening gap. But whoa, excuse me. But no, we ended up not doing that. We ended up coming into we ended up displacing heavily, breaking all sorts of whatever bullish structure you saw here. To be honest, to me, this was honestly pretty bearish. We ended up breaking 5 minute structure. We were just expecting bearish PD rays, and then we ended up just continuing it lower. We did not end up getting a retrace in the 5 minute PD ray, which was my first mistake to be honest. So let's get on to the 1 minute because I didn't honestly use a 3 minute for this. A 3 minute was just straight up down, literally just dick down to the downside, bro. It was insane. First entry, I honestly kind of missed. Um, excuse me. My first entry was really early, but I saw this entry get filled, and I was tempted on taking it, bro. Genuinely tempted on taking it. Like my first take probably would have been at the beginning, and then from there I would have kept it all the way down here. But like I said, I don't take entries this early, and I made a mistake on the first one. And second of all, I have also messed up because we also had a second entry present ourselves. This one, well, first entry because this was the original entry that I would have taken, but it was way too early. But this one, I still look like a hypocrite. It was really early. This one was during chop slop season because if you just look at this whole huge rain, bro, if you just look at this huge range, bro, this is disgusting. Literally, we were just in a huge rain. I ended up getting chopped in this, caught in the slop. Another entry presented itself, which was this fair value gap. We ended up getting a bullish, I meant bearish reaction off of it. We ended up tapping into our 5 minute PD array. So from there, I ended up selling. I ended up shorting really late to be honest, and I shouldn't have shorted this late. That was honestly my fault. Entry was really, excuse me, was really aggressive, bro. I genuinely cannot tell you how aggressive this entry was, guys. Like genuinely, this was super aggressive. Excuse me. My stop loss was right here. Like it was that aggressive. I think my entry was like right here. This was super aggressive. I shouldn't have done this because we came up and filled this for rally up again. If anything, I should have kept it right here. I still would have ended up being stopped out because we ended up creating um an internal SMT. Well, I'm pretty sure we ended up creating an internal SMT. Bro, my mind is like everywhere right now. This is so bad. Where is it? Oh, right here. We ended up creating an internal SMC right here. We ended up creating a high, then a higher high. I mean, low. then a higher low, and then literally on Nasdaq we ended up creating a low, then a lower low right here, which would have ended up overall stopping me out. But like I said, this was a very aggressive entry. I shouldn't have taken this. One, it was before the macro, and two, we were chopping heavily, so I got caught in the chop. This was a huge accumulation area that I ended up marking out because this was just disgusting. This internal SMT was honestly okay. Wow, that's getting cut. Okay. We ended up having this chop area. I'm sorry for the cut. There's gonna be an edit, by the way. We ended up having this chop area. I took it out, and then I got caught in the chop. Well, I got caught in the slop in the chop. Well, I got caught in the chop of the slop, whatever that is. This internal SMT was made for price to come up and balance itself out, which I honestly realized because this SMT ended up getting ran through. Because this SMT wasn't really important, to be honest. The way I see SMTs, I'm still kind of learning about them, to be honest. But the way I'm honestly leaning more towards is the first main one that presents itself with the buy with like the higher time frame is the one that's usually going to hold. Any internal one is probably just used to rebalance into a PD array for us to rebalance it back out, and that SMT is eventually going to get smushed. For example, like I just said, we ended up having this internal SMT on the 1 minute, but this SMT was formed in order for price to rebalance back into this huge 5 minute PD array, that gap from market open, and then what else did we have? We ended up creating another SMT from it. And what else did this SMT do? This SMT ended up creating a whole other SMT literally from that, because this SMT ended up still holding, but this SMT eventually diminished for price to create another last SMT, which ended up holding really, really, really strong. And then from there, we ended up demolishing that internal SMT and then continuing lower from this bullish PD array. Anyways, we were caught in the slop, and then my second entry was honestly was so retarded. The macro was open. Looked on the 5 minute. I was like, okay, we tapped into the 5 minute PD array on the 5 minute. We're getting reactions out of it. But however, on the 3 minute, I had realized we were still sloppy. There was nothing here. We were still super sloppy, and if anything, we were just into this order blood, but we ended up like disrespecting it. But still, this was super sloppy. Even on the 1 minute, I was barely on the 3 minute because I was like, this is so bad. But let me check on the 1 minute. Let me see if we had something. 3 minute was just looking horrible. The 1 minute was looking even more rough. But however, my second entry, I ended up getting raped. Literally same candle, bro. This was so bad. But this was another aggressive entry. I need to stop because I was getting way too ahead of myself. We ended up having this BPR range, this inversion. We ended up getting price sold up into the inversion, and then from there we also had this inverse as well. So from there, after we had that inverse, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna enter. Literally, first take profit was this liquidity right here, and then second take profit would have been the entry of this hourly for rally gap. So I was like, okay, you know what, we're gonna enter, and then my entry was, hold up, right down there, right here. My entry was right here, and my stop was literally right above here. Now this was genuinely horrible. I promise you guys, this was genuinely horrible. It was right here, I think. Yeah, because we inversed and I literally got in somewhere here. But anyways, we inversed this gap. We ended up tapping into this bearish gap, and again, I ended up getting freaking, bro. I ended up getting graped. Literally graped again. This was horrible. I'm not gonna lie, my mind was not here at all. I was too busy on and off the charts, which I shouldn't do. I was barely running off of sleep, to be honest, because I was like up and doing so much things in Cali, and I should have known this was a bad trade. I should have known I shouldn't have traded, and I knew I shouldn't have traded. I was just not disciplined, and then I ended up trading. That was pretty unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, there's not much you could really do besides just not do it again. And I'm not gonna do it again because that's horrible. Which is why I'm on the moves, which is saying, okay, I'm not gonna trade at all today. Well, this week. But we'll have to see how this week goes. If I have the time, then I have the time to be alone and like fully focused, then I will. If not, then nah, I'm just gonna call it a week and just take my L's. But I mean, yeah, I ended up getting raped again, bro. And this whole slop ended up clearing up when we ended up creating that last SMT. And then after that last SMT, we ended up creating an inversion. What else did we have? We ended up creating a CISD off of the 5 minute PD array. So what do we have with a 1 minute CISD? a clean displacement. This was a clean displacement. And then honestly, a short could have literally been right here. Stops would have been honestly above the SMC, and then again, take profit literally to the same places where I would have wanted my take profits to be. But to be honest, since the stop was way high and we ended up having the CIZ entry literally all the way over here, I probably would have honestly entered off an inversion, to be honest, because if I like the way we have a bearish SMT with the higher time frame narrative and the way we're reacting off of that SMT, and we see these imbalances get inverted, that's pretty clear to me that we're gonna want to go shorter. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it of how I literally got freaking butt, just freaking bro. This was me. This was the markets. Like it was so bad, bro. But anyways, we'll be back honestly soon. I don't know when, but this week I will be traveling a lot. I'm literally back home for like a day. Well, yeah, literally tomorrow. I'm literally back home for just tomorrow, and then I leave again on Thursday. But other than that, I'll try to keep you guys updated with everything. I post literally every single day on my TikTok. I try to. Even when I was on vacation, I at least got one post out to at least let everyone know that I was alive. But I mean, yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was yapping a lot. I'm not gonna lie. So much stuff. I was just like yapping. So I hope you guys can actually understand where I was coming from. My brain is just so like everywhere. I just need to get proper like adequate rests. But other than that, I love you guys still so much. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys watch this whole trade recap, I love you guys. Peace out.